You know, the story of Lionel Messi is really the story of two different people. For years, he was a god in Barcelona, but almost a ghost in his home country of Argentina. He lived these two separate lives, defined by two totally different legends. This is the story of how he finally became the hero of both. So, let's start with a question. Imagine you're called the best to ever play the game, a true genius, but you can't seem to deliver for your own people. For over 15 years, this wasn't some hypothetical for Messi. Nope, it was a real wound, a shadow that just followed him everywhere he went on the world stage. And this is what it looked like. With his club, Barcelona, it was a mountain of gold, trophies everywhere. But for his country, Argentina, it was just a desert of heartbreak. This was the paradox that defined him for so long. An untouchable king in one jersey and a tragic hero in the other.
To really get a feel for that heartbreak, you first have to understand the glory. I mean, the absolutely unprecedented glory. So let's go back to where it all began, where the legend was forged, Barcelona. He was just this little kid from Rosario, Argentina, a prodigy with a really big problem. He was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency that threatened to end his dream before it even started. But Barcelona, they saw the magic in his feet. And they made a bet on him, famously signing his first contract on a restaurant napkin, a napkin that would literally change football history. He was shaped and molded in La Masia, Barcelona's legendary youth academy. And this place wasn't just a training ground, it was a whole footballing philosophy. It was all about intelligence and technique over raw size and strength. I mean, it was the perfect incubator for his one-of-a-kind genius. And the result of all that? Well, how about this number? 672. That's how many goals he scored for one club. Just think about that. It's a record of loyalty and just relentless excellence that, let's be honest, is probably never going to be broken. For 2 decades, he wasn't just a player for Barcelona, he was Barcelona. Then there's 2012. He did something that people thought was literally impossible. 91 goals in a single calendar year. He didn't just break the old record, which had stood for 40 years. He completely obliterated it. He set a new standard for greatness that we may never ever see reached again. And this one, 8. 8 Ballon d'Or awards. That isn't just a record, folks. That is a dynasty. It represents more than a decade of complete dominance at the absolute peak of the sport. It was an era where he just reigned as the undisputed king. And the amazing thing is, he wasn't just a solo act. He was the conductor of 2 of the greatest teams, 2 of the greatest orchestras in football history. First, you had Pep Guardiola's tiki-taka masters, and then he was the centerpiece of that absolutely unstoppable MSN attacking trio with Neymar and Suarez. Even when he was just a teenager, everyone could see it. The talent was just undeniable. The whole world knew he was a king in the making. But for his own country, he was still just a pretender to another man's throne. And that, right there, brings us to the other side of the coin. For all the trophies, all the glory in Barcelona, this incredibly heavy shadow followed him every single time he put on the blue and white of Argentina. See, in Argentina, he wasn't just being compared to other great players. No, he was being measured against a god, Diego Maradona, the hero who single-handedly delivered the 1986 World Cup. And until Messi could do the same, he would always carry that weight of falling short. His quest to win for Argentina just became this brutal cycle of torment. I mean, first, the absolute agony of the 2014 World Cup final, lost in the dying minutes. Then, the heartbreak of back-to-back Copa America final losses, both on penalties. It wasn't just losing, it felt like a recurring nightmare playing out on the world's biggest stage. And then, after that third straight final loss, he just broke. The weight of an entire nation's hopes and dreams had become too much. It really looked like the tragic hero was going to be his final chapter. But the story wasn't over. Not even close. He came back. And he didn't return as a broken man. He came back as a warrior, on one last quest for redemption. And what happened next unfolded like the perfect final act of a movie. Step 1, he conquered a continent. He led Argentina to its first major trophy in 28 years, finally breaking that awful curse. And then, Step 2, he set his sights on the entire world. One last shot at the one prize that had always escaped him. And he didn't just win the World Cup, he completely owned it. At 35 years old, he put on one of the greatest individual performances the tournament has ever seen, basically dragging his team to glory through sheer force of will. And when he finally lifted that beautiful golden trophy, it felt like the entire world celebrated with him. It wasn't just a win for Argentina, it was a win for football itself. It was the storybook ending the whole planet had been waiting to see. Okay, so with that final massive piece of the puzzle now in place, what does it all mean for his legacy, right? Has he finally settled the debate once and for all? You know, for years, the big argument against him, the one thing people could always point to, was that empty international trophy cabinet. But look at it now. He's got the complete resume. Overwhelming club success, individual awards that are totally unprecedented, and now the ultimate international prize. The same one his biggest rivals built their legends on. And that's because he does it all. He's not just one of the greatest goal scorers ever. He's also one of the greatest playmakers ever. He's not just a dribbler, he's a world-class free kick specialist. You could argue he's the most complete attacker the game has ever seen. And now, finally, he has won it all. So, that debate over the greatest of all time, it's raged for decades. But with his final coronation in Qatar, Lionel Messi wrote the perfect ending to his own incredible story. So the only question left to ask is this: did he actually end the debate itself, or did he just raise the bar for the next generation to chase?